Good evening, everybody. It is Monday, September the 16th, 2019, and welcome everybody to the Mr. Video Game Live Super Show, brought to you by Dead Sun Entertainment. Yahoo! All right.
Hooray.
I am, as always, Slacker Kite, your host here for Mr. Video Games, running the stream and putting the images up in the most lazy way possible, but whatever. Yes, and of course, we've got with us our returning people. He already won the Pokemon League 15 years ago. Can't stop, won't stop. It's Bronny K. Wonderboy.
Got any spare badges?
Nice, get a little bit of that echo coming back in my own ears. It's a good start to the stream. And she too is rebranding for 2020. Really, it's the same thing, but with 50% more swagger. It's Lindsay aka Lady Merowin.
Woohoo!
Okay, real quick, I just realized that I just railed off like 2 minutes of talking about how I fucked up all that stuff with my microphone muted. So, we are definitely off to a great start, and I am not trying to step on you, Linz, at all. So please, I will, like, if you have anything else to say here at the top before I go into my diatribe real quick.
No, diatribe away, but
Okay. So sorry. No. Yes, I fucked up. But I have a valid excuse. I am fucking brain dead after this weekend. I literally I don't know how I adult while doing things that I have to do for work. It is really stupid and really dumb. I watched so much wrestling this weekend. I am dead to the world. I watched so much wrestling and so much Dark Crystal, you guys. You have no fucking idea.
I'm having trouble feeling, bad for you, with, the work that I do here, so...
I went to sleep at 6 in the morning.
It's a whole lot of wrestling.
And I played too much Fire Emblem. And then I turned on the stream and made everything echo. And I'm testing out a new setup and everything's going all a blurping. I'm in rare form today, everyone. It's going to be fun.
Oh, we're all beautiful.
We still love you.
I would hope so.
I too am dead, so there will be no live cams, sadly, this day. But also, maybe it's a good idea not to have the live cam if we're going to do something like 21 articles today. Fuck off.
Oof. Is it really that many?
Maybe more.
That much news?
Dude, I can't even read the titles on all of the tabs I have open on my browser right now.
Alright. Well, I got my coffee. Let's fucking do this.
Alright, you ready to drop into the first story?
Totally.
Yeah, because this is one that pissed me off.
We're gonna rip off this one like a band-aid, because, done talking about it, but anyway. Hey look, it's fucking PewDiePie, coming back again to Mr. Video Games, because he made a mistake. Is it a mistake?
Always?
Is it a mistake like saying the N-word on stream, or, dressing up like something, or all that good stuff? Nah, not at all. His mistake was saying he would donate $50,000 to the Anti-Defamation League. So he said on a video, I'm going to donate to this for my 20 million subscribers or whatever. And some people apparently got pissed off about it, and for reasons, and now he's decided to remove his pledge to the Anti-Defamation League. Where to even start with this one? He basically said he hadn't actually looked into it. He had been recommended this charity. And then after what all of his lovely viewers said, he decided to second guess it.
Because he's a nub.
Just fucking bell end, dude. Like, what the fuck is going on with it? Like, I just do not understand this. Like, okay, I really don't want to talk about PewDiePie that much, just because he's such a fucking insufferable piece of shit.
Mm.
But I will say this: whenever you rescind a donation to a organization that literally has anti-defamation in the name, because people on YouTube, randos on YouTube, are saying that you shouldn't censor yourself by not selecting the charity fully on your own, as opposed to asking for help as to which charity to donate to.
Oh no, that's not why they're saying that he is censoring himself.
Okay, is it because he? Oh, it's because of the Nazi stuff, right?
No.
Okay.
Because the Anti-Defamation League, according to the people in his comments, they are huge censors that have gotten several YouTube channels banned.
Because they were Nazis.
In...
I don't know that fully, but I know that some that played into it, considering that they are basically like they fight like against like anti-Semitism.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and one of the people they had fought against previously was PewDiePie himself. They had said, after his little article, a little soiree, that YouTube should get rid of him, I kind of thought that was why he was given the donation. Like, hey, I can be a bigger man. It's fine.
Yeah, I kind of saw this as I'm sorry I was a dick.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was at first, but apparently no. It was just maybe one of his managers recommended it. I don't know. He wanted to celebrate and thought it'd be fun. Hey, what charity should I do? Oh, you guys think the Anti-Defamation League? That sounds like a good thing. Let me donate to that.
I mean, he got dropped by Disney. It takes a lot to do that.
Yeah, the Insane Clown Posse was on Disney for a while.
Wait, what?
There was a period of time the Insane Clown Posse was on Disney.
I did not know this, and now my world has changed forever. I need to. Okay, well, while I Google ICP Disney, what the fuck? I'm just going to go ahead and say that I don't really have much sympathy for someone who decides to take back a donation that would have benefited a community that he has been credibly accused of basically being shitty towards multiple times. But I wouldn't put any of this past the dude who just casually wears a fucking Iron Cross on his streams as a joke.
It's the lulz, am I right?
Yeah, it's just one of the things. Like, if look, I get it. Like, if he wants to be irreverent and he wants to be like shitty or whatever, like you can be shitty without being like actually shitty, you know. And like the fact that that sort of imagery is not something to be joked around with.
Oh, but it's not an Iron Cross. It's a Georgian cross from the designer that he bought it from.
That's cool. Guess what? That designer's probably like that's fucking Nazi. Look into that designer. That designer's probably a Nazi. As someone who, and I'm going to make this claim right now, and I regret this thing to the end of my days for whenever I was in high school and I was stupid. From someone who tried to reclaim the swastika as a peace sign for a little while because of its original intent, having the naivety to do that, none of this shit can be redeemed. None of it. I don't give a fuck. It's not worth jokes. It's not worth trying to repurpose. It's not worth trying to go back to what it meant beforehand. All right? Like, all this shit is tainted. You can't put that sort of imagery into your stuff and not have those sort of accusations placed against you.
The ground's been salted already.
Yeah, it's done. It's scorched earth. You're fucking done. Don't rename it something else and then put it on your shit.
All right. I wanted to get that the fuck out of the way first because that's my least favorite story of today. There's things worse going on. There's a whole lot better going on, but there's things worse going on. But that's the dumbest thing we had to talk on today. And considering how much Twitter addressed that little controversy, yeah, no, it was good to get the fuck out of the way. But let's go on to something a little bit more stupid, but not in that vein of stupid. Let's talk about E3.
Oh my god, I just found the ICP Disney connection. I'm done. I'm done with it. The Great Malenko? Great Malenko?
Uh-huh.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to deter from this very, very important story that I really want to talk about, but what the fuck? Okay. Okay.
Breathe. Okay. So, the ESA is planning for their E3 2020 launch, and of course, everything's been very tumultuous, let's say. Last year they had a whole bunch of people drop out, and of course, there's the doxing. So, what does the ESA decide to do? But decide to rebrand themselves as a fan media and influencer festival. Oh, okay. What they're looking to do is to give experiences to the fans rather than, what they started as a way for reporters and media and developers and industry folks to all get together and give information. Instead, they're opening up 10,000 more tickets to the LA Convention Center so they can go experience fan experiences and interact with influencers. Because E3 wasn't already losing its name in the industry as it was, let's make it more crass.
It used to be like one of my dreams to one day be able to go to E3.
Mm-hmm.
And now, does not want.
I mean, I don't blame you. Like, honestly, working in the industry, one of my main goals was to go to an E3, and I still haven't had the chance. And honestly, the way things are looking right now, next year might be the last year to really get somewhat of the experience that we all kind of grew up sort of idealizing in terms of like wanting to like be on the floor there. It should be noted though that these changes are still in pitch form. Like this all comes from a pitch deck that was sent out to the ESA members, which by ESA members we mean all of the big AAA publishers that use the ESA to lobby for them in Washington. So, but like that doesn't even scratch the surface of what is included in this stuff, though. Honestly, like they're pivoting to be more consumer friendly and stuff like that, opening up 10,000 more tickets, totaling out to 25,000 consumer tickets for next year's E3 is what they want to do. And then adding the fan experiences. But also, they are talking about basically bumping up the participation of celebrities, most notably by not paying them to do so, but trying to trade basically like, what was it? What they called it? Member decision points or something like that. I don't know. Okay, no, they'll be invited. They're invited there to kind of like as in like ambassadors or being tied to something else. That's probably the grossest part of this whole presentation. The importance of social good. So you know how the ESA is a lobbying group, and lobbying groups are usually pretty shitty. And they've dealt with a lot of controversies within the video game industry lately, most notably the loot box stuff so far. Yeah. So what if their main strategy on combating the toxicity of those sort of things in terms of like consumer and critical response is to just bank a whole bunch of social good points that they can tout out whenever somebody calls them on their bullshit.
You can do it for the exposure.
Oh my god. Okay, so there's an entire slide in this thing called Power of Social Good. And I'm just gonna read this off. because it's fucking ridiculous. So basically, research shows that millennials and Gen Z are the most giving back / social good generations ever. By amplifying E3's social good brand, we can advance the industry's brand with consumers while storing positive chits for future use, e.g., policy goals, next negative video game story. One tactic we can implement is partnering with influencers, celebrities, athletes, YouTube personalities who are passionate about E3 relevant social good efforts, like gender equality and STEM courses.
Okay.
Yeah. I've never heard E3 talk about STEM. I get that they would. That seems like something they would talk about. I personally have not seen that sort of thing. It's probably out there somewhere, but they just don't. It doesn't get into much play. Imagine an NBA. This is fucking pipe dream stuff. Imagine an NBA champion, global superstar participating in an E3 Coliseum conversation, and/or global movie star being part of the E3 digital ticket, because it included social good components.
An NBA champion, you say? Did my grandma write this line?
Why specifically NBA? That's what's funny to me.
Because, gamers give a fuck about the NBA for the most part. I mean, I do, but...
Well, the thing is, it's funny because they call out the NBA specifically in the slide, and then in an earlier part of the presentation, they talk about like one of those fan experiences being like, come watch the Los Angeles Lakers play NBA 2K. So like they really are sinking in on the basketball aspect of like the gaming community in a lot of ways, which is funny to me because like there's like some bleed over between NBA 2K and just in terms of like general sports gaming audiences, there's some bleed over, but nowhere near enough for like a lot of this stuff to really play out outside of just celebrity for celebrity's sake.
I think it'd be more funny to watch an NBA champion play NBA 2K and rage quit because the controls are bullshit.
Oh, that would be hilarious. I want to see that. I don't think it. Oh God! Imagine the blowback if something like that actually happened on stage.
Sure, or have them pay out of pocket to get to buy themselves in the game. That'll be great.
No, you can't pay out of pocket. You gotta hit that slot machine. Hit that fucking slot machine, motherfuckers. Give us your goddamn money. We're 2K. No, but like back to like the main crux of like this really gross thing here. They are talking about banking. Like we were good to these things. We promote these sort of like really awesome charitable causes just for the fact that we can trot them back out whenever we do shitty things. Like it's so fucking transparent.
Yeah, not that you care about any of these things or, want to contribute back to the societies that have given so much to, the game community, but rather it'll make us look good and, Gen Z really cares about people.
Yeah. It's just like that's you're exploiting. Like it's a new level of exploitation. Let's face it, like video game companies have exploited their audiences for a long time now. I mean, look at we were just talking about hit that fucking slot machine. Like you're exploiting your audience there. But like this is a new level of it. Like this is creeping into like cultural norms, like in a way that like or cultural movements rather, in a way that is like just really, really like just like stomach churning. Especially considering that they're talking about doing all of this stuff while they haven't done anything to bridge the gap created by the leaking of personal information of every single journalist, influencer, and analyst that went to E3 2019. They have done nothing, and it's been almost 2 months.
See, the thing that I'm wondering is if this works. I'm not going to say it's going to, but I don't hold out much hope. Could we not see then in the future, like, oh, look, the Occupy movement version 2.0, sponsored by the ESA? Like,
oh, don't even.
Seriously.
It might not be that egregious, but there definitely would be some messaging. I wouldn't be surprised. But here's the thing, though. I don't think this is going to work. Like even
No, these are all bad ideas. Like,
yeah,
you're dragging the
like
name of E3 through the fucking mud.
yeah, like it's just it like looking at like the tweet that was included in the article here by real quick, I had to shout out my dude Mike Flutter over at GameDaily.biz. Like the tweet included in here, like pointing out the attendance numbers for all of these conferences this year, like points to the fact that like even with an increase in 10,000 consumer tickets, and all this other added stuff, E3 is still going to be drastically behind in terms of like fan interest as a show itself.
Mm.
It's just not. It's not what it wants to be. It's not what it's trying to become, and they don't know how to do that. You know, even Gamescom, for like as many people as that go to Gamescom, they still have like a business section for like journalists and professionals to kind of have a separate space away from the fan part of the show to do their work and to do what they're there to do for their jobs. And I know E3, like in part of the pitch was like basically making Tuesday an industry only day.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine, but like knowing the nature of like setting appointments at E3 and like and how hectic those days can be, even before they started letting consumers into the show a few years ago, like one day is not
Oh, that ain't gonna do shit.
yeah, it's not going to do anything. All that's going to do is keep people from being clogged by all these other people that are just like trying to buy the I went to E3 t-shirts and are going to get in the line to play something on the Switch and realize that they're in line for 2 hours and don't know what to do with themselves because they only get to play like 3 games a day and then have to be succumbed to Qtainment, which is another thing in this pitch. Qtainment as a way to take advantage of chances to market to people in long lines. Great. That's what I want when I'm already angry about having to wait in a long line to play a 15-minute Zelda demo. I really want to be marketed to for some trivial gaming bullshit that I probably don't give a fuck about.
And they were also proposing something about like what they do with fast passes at Disney, where you register for a demo time window and then come back later.
Yeah. That's like the one good thing in this whole piece. Like that is the only thing that would be sensible for both consumers and industry professionals, because you don't always book appointments for stuff. You know, sometimes you have to wait in those lines. So like, yeah, that's an awesome idea. It's just packaged in with so much other dumb bullshit. Ugh.
All right, now half an hour into our 20 articles, let's go to Article 3.
Real quick before we move on, there's one more thing, because the ESA might have actually committed an FTC violation.
Do what?
Yeah. So here's the thing. Or maybe not FTC. What's the financial one? The financial organization? Is it the FTC?
No.
No. Damn it! I can't think of it right now.
I should know this, and I can't remember for the life of me.
Anyway, they basically in one of their slides they talked about like how they partnered with what they said was a CNBC program called Tech Impact as paid programming to like kind of like talk about E3. Well, first off, it turns out that apparently the show isn't necessarily on CNBC. Like the show's website says that it airs on Fox Business and Bloomberg. So wrong there. But more importantly, if the episodes that they supposedly are claiming that they paid for programming on, they did not disclose that it was paid programming, meaning that they did not disclose like it's basically I think the same as like not putting paid advertisement on your YouTube video. #ad. They didn't put #ad on their stuff, and so they might have just outed themselves as committing like a financial crime.
It was it's a violation of their truth in advertising laws.
Yes. Yes, I want to say that is covered under the FTC, but I'm not positive right now. For some reason, acronyms are bleeding together.
Possible? Either way, The
Yeah.
last of our little intro stories coming on here. Um, a streamer whose name is a series of letters. Cuckoo? Quuqco? Either way, she is an artist, and maybe I looked up her art Instagram and other Instagrams for scientific reasons for this, so I could understand what everyone's big hassle is on this. However, she appeared on a recent stream that she was doing in a Chun-Li outfit. It's, fairly normal, straight ahead. There's a little bit of thigh showing. She even made sure not to show way too much on this. She had before with the My outfit that she got banned for 3 days on, but ever since she's been followed by a popular subreddit called Livestream Fail. And while they cannot be verified, there were people talking on Livestream Fail about going into her stream to report her for being a quote unquote thought. So yeah, she got another 3-day ban out of the wonderful people here. Livestream Fail responded, as far as I can tell, that they are not brigading her or anything along those lines. So there you go. And while I really doubt this image will get us banned from Twitch, I'm not going to pull up the My one because that one's a little bit more questionable. But that's not really the one we're talking about today. So who gives a shit?
I mean, I know a Twitch partner. She's a cosplayer. And I watched her do a stream where she literally just wore body paint. That's fine.
Oh yeah, Zombie Unicorn does that all the time.
This isn't. I think this was Andy Ray cosplay.
Okay.
But this isn't fine. Like, what the hell, guys? And I visited Livestream Fails. I'm an avid Redditor. And I lasted about 30 seconds in there before my brain threatened to leak out of my ears.
So the average time spent on a average subreddit. Lord, honestly, that doesn't surprise me. Like, this just like, I just don't understand this. Like, I don't. Can we just stop telling people what they need to wear?
Yeah, I could give a damn if you have full-on titty and dong out. Like, mark it 18 plus and then go on with your goddamn day. Who gives a shit?
Especially when it comes to fucking cosplay stuff like this. You know? Like, I just don't understand, like, why this got banned, but yet, like, I watched fucking Tyler One, like, 2 years ago, like, stream an entire, like, 8-hour League of Legends bullshit with his shirt off. Like, why doesn't that could be sexually suggestive? Why isn't anybody getting banned over stuff like that? You know, like, it's just so odd. There's no, like, consistency with what actually gets you suspended.
Yeah, that's the
and
thing.
It's
like, partners are getting away with a whole lot more than this dumb shit.
Yeah, because, like, it even says she's a small streamer. So she's probably like me, like low affiliate or not even affiliated yet. So the fact that stuff like this happens, like, I swear I'm going to start streaming in a turtleneck that's 5 sizes too big. Because, like,
I mean, winter's about to hit Canada, so you're going to have to anyway, but...
Fair point.
It's just like one of those things. Like, what is she supposed to do? Like, she actually says, like, in the article, like, she bought a one size up from what she normally wears just to make sure that it wasn't too risque, and still got reported. So, like,
yeah, I mean, I was watching the Kind of Funny guys, like, they were looking at all the stuff from this stream and, like, why? Like, they took a look at several pictures and were like, why? And then someone else mentioned the My outfit, and they're like, Oh, that's why people are following her around because of the previous one. But that's also some weird, dumb bullshit. They're like, oh, just because, once she was on stream and a little bit extra titty came out, man, let's keep following her.
Well, like there was an instance recently as well of a female streamer who was wearing a skirt and she had gotten like sub bombed or something. And so she was literally rolling on the floor giggling.
Hmm.
And her skirt happened to come up just a little bit too high. Insta ban. Like it's not like she was nude under the skirt. Like she was wearing underwear that covered everything.
Yeah.
But hey, at least it's not Mixer.
Fair
You're not
point.
wrong.
Fucking dress code when I stream. No.
Go on, Brian. Last 2 cents.
Just dumb. It's just. I don't really have anything else, honestly. I'm just like exasperated. I wish that Twitch would be more consistent with their stuff like this. I really wish, and that they would not like. So they would actually take some discretion as to like the level of people that they're looking at and put people on a more equal playing field here, because there definitely is a divide between who gets suspended and what you have to do to get suspended based on how high up you are in their universe, quote unquote.
From now on, if you do live cam, you can only put the racing chair in front of the camera. That's it. End of story.
Will I get suspended if I don't have a racing chair?
Yes.
Okay, well, I'm going to get suspended every fucking day that I am on Twitch.
Same, though. Anyway. Let's move on for the next segment. We got a whole shitload of updates to things we have talked about before. And the first one that I really want to hit, just because I fucking love this game, and I talked about it last week. Control is a fucking great game and everyone should play it, and now you should actually play it on the PS4. They rolled out updates to the PlayStation 4, Windows, and Xbox One, and one of the major things to come out of this was to remove things that cause crashes, to remove things that cause frame rates to drop into the single digits, and allow the map to actually fucking appear in less than 2 minutes time. So yeah, play it on the PlayStation now. You don't have to just play it on Windows. I would still recommend playing it on Windows, but still, you can play it on the PlayStation or Xbox now and have a great time with it regardless.
This makes me very happy. As a PlayStation 4 person who could not get this game to run on their PC if they wanted to fucking save their life, I am so happy to hear this now, because I actually now have a version of this game that I can play whenever I get around to it.
Literally, I was playing the game. I was in, like, the last mission. I didn't know it was the last mission. But, like, me and Squid Pro Crow here, we're sitting down playing the game, and all of a sudden, the game crashes in the middle of the fake credits. Yeah, so I didn't actually get to see the ending until I restarted everything. That was cool. It was great. But yeah, despite that, it's still my second favorite game of the year. So that's how good a game it is.
Nice.
It pulled an Undertale, absolutely. But also on the end of talking about Control, they, at the same time as releasing these patches, announced 2 new DLC events. And the one that everyone is talking about in this content roadmap is the fact that they are going to do an event that crosses over with Alan Wake and actually covers, from Control perspective, the Alan Wake event, calling it AWE.
Did y'all play Alan Wake?
I didn't.
I didn't, but I watched Playwatch rip through it on his stream, and the amount of cursing was stellar.
Good cursing?
Especially, well, more like when he hit the end and it was so the fuck was all of that?
Okay, I can see that. I can definitely see that. There doesn't necessarily stick the landing on what it wants to do, I think. But no, Alan Wake, I really like that game. Whenever it came out, I ripped through it in like one night. And I'm super excited that they are willing to kind of let these two worlds bleed in together. You don't really see a ton of these sort of crossover things, so I'm really, and considering the imagination of the people at Remedy, I'm really curious to see what comes out of this.
Well, apparently in Control, there's a lot of little nods to Alan Wake here and there. And apparently, when they had originally started making Alan Wake 2, and it became Control.
Yeah, there are multiple nods to the events in Alan Wake. Even from somebody who has only the casual understanding of Alan Wake as a game. I haven't played it, but I've seen bits and pieces of it, listened to a whole bunch of people that I love and recommend talking about this game. You really get a sense of they love this world. The people who wrote this game love this world to fucking pieces. They also, one of the writers wanted to let you know that if you're going to write sexy fan fiction about Control, they give you permission as long as you make it really weird. So get to writing.
I mean, it would have to be really weird to be associated with this world, right?
Basically.
I've heard about that ashtray maze.
Yeah, that's a pizza. That is something else. That was a thing?
Mm-hmm.
I do like that there's very little hand-holding in Control, though.
Oh yeah, that's one of the best parts, is that the game just like, hey, you want to know what you're doing? Fuck off, I ain't telling you.
Poke things, see if it does a thing. If you die, you poked the wrong thing. Try again.
I'm into it.
Alright, and following up on previous games we've talked about Fallout 76, where you can buy a $7 fridge to keep your food from spoiling.
Fuck Fallout 76.
It's only 700 atoms, and for another 500 atoms, you can get a robot you send out into the world that collects scrap and junk for you.
So you're telling me that the robot costs less than a refrigerator?
Yes.
In what economy does a robot who actually does like actual complicated tasks for you cost more than the thing that keeps my cheese cold?
Well, I wouldn't get too far ahead of ourselves with the complicated tasks. I mean, it's technically a glorified Roomba.
Yeah.
It's a Roomba that goes out of my house. That's complicated.
Yeah, you have to remember you're in the post-apocalypse. Your food is dying. You don't want to die. You don't have many fridges left. It makes sense in, like, a Fallout world that this would be more expensive, but the fact that you can spend your real-world money on it and not your game money instead, even if you can earn some of the atoms in-game, I've seen how quick you earn 1,200 atoms. It ain't quick. That's for damn sure. Somebody in this house fucking loves Fallout 76. I'm not sure why, but...
You have to be fucking kidding me.
Oh, she adores this game. We'll sit there for hours playing it.
Never mind. Okay, that's fine. I thought you said someone else in that house.
Oh, no. He plays stupider games.
Yeah, I was gonna get on Discord later and, like, send a bunch of all caps messages, like, asking what the fuck was wrong with their brain. Anyway.
Look, there aren't enough schoolgirls with feelings in Fallout 76, so...
Check the cosmetic shop soon. If they can sell a $7 fridge, they can sell a $7 that. Dumb.
Hey, inside jokes, am I right? But there you go.
This podcast is turning us all into crotchety old people.
It's not as in the podcast. It's more so just Bethesda being dumb.
But it's also a case of you trailed off muttering angrily.
Yeah. I'll own it. Whatever.
Given that big boomer energy here.
Oh, do not put that on. You... Oh.
All right. Continuing into the world, thank you to PC Games and Ian Boudreau, I'm going to guess. I'm sorry if I stepped all over your name. But Discord is going to scrap its Nitro Games catalog. Nitro is something on Discord where you can subscribe for a couple dollars per month. And you get free games, but most people really just use it for the GIF emoticons that you can use, as far as I've ever seen. Since nobody uses it, they've decided to cancel this part of Nitro, which was a big part of their big reveal of Nitro a year ago.
Yeah, I mean, this is the next logical step after they closed up their game store front. It doesn't surprise me at all. Like, I know I never really looked in there to see what was available. Granted, I was never a Nitro subscriber. But you know, it's not terribly surprising to see this happen.
Yeah, I mean, people complain about, why is Epic buying free games for people? This is why. Like, they literally were giving out free games and still couldn't keep people interested because there's so many fucking games out there right now.
Yeah, that's been the interesting narrative to jump up after this announcement, is the fact that, people are pointing out, like, this is exactly why Epic buys all the exclusives that it does, because, like, you have to do that to compete against Steam in this marketplace. So, like, I'm glad that it's actually putting some positivity on Epic's business practices, because they are not detrimental to the industry as so many fan communities look at or see them as.
Yeah, they're not great, but they're not, video game Hitler. I have my qualms with Epic, but yeah, they're not here to kill your video games.
I have my qualms with Epic as a company, but I am all for them having their storefront be a viable option so that we do not have fucking Steam ruling over us as a monopoly on PC. I am all for that. So by all means, like, buy up exclusives. I don't care. Like, it's a free storefront. I don't have to pay any money to access it. Just download a thing and play a thing. Like, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, even Microsoft has bowed down to the mighty Steam at this point. It's kind of good to me that somebody has an actual attempt at becoming something. I would prefer it to be the humble people, because I think their ideas in store are better. But they're not, so whatever. Continuing down the trend of, I could have probably put Fallout 76 before this and then gone into Borderlands 3 here. Coming out of Eurogamer by Wesley Yinpool, the deputy editor. There are a lot of people really having huge problems with Borderlands 3. If I know multiple people having issues with Borderlands 3, like, normally when I hear people saying, oh, there's issues with this game, like, I don't ever actually hear it from people I fucking know. It's usually, complainy bullshit on forums, but no, Borderlands 3, especially the PC launch, has been having a whole lot of weird glitches and game-breaking crashes going on that have made people pretty unhappy.
I'm sorry, if you're gonna charge me $80 for a game, I expect it to work. Like, that's as simple as it is. I pay you money, you give me functioning toy.
I mean, that's what you would hope.
Hey Brian, did you hear about the one Moxie item, her overflowing joy?
No.
The flavor text says, hey, do you want to see a magic trick?
Done.
No.
Oh, it's so awful. Why is it so bad?
Burn it. Destroy the game.
Yeah.
Crash it.
No one gets to play
It needs to
Borderlands
die.
3 anymore. It's done. It's dead to the world. Like, from any other company, from any other person in the gaming industry, I could have taken that as somewhat of a humorous joke.
Mm-hmm.
But coming from Randy Pitchford, no, you don't get to do that. You don't get to do that whenever you are so fucking shitty and you still have litigation going on talking about that same thing that you were talking about being categorized as something way more illegal than what it is or what you claim it is. So okay, so like maybe don't bring that up inside of your video game.
You know, just a little bit weird.
It's the hallmark of the arrogant motherfucker that thinks that they are untouchable. And I'm sorry, being the CEO of Gearbox is nowhere near like untouchable status.
Hey, you want to talk about a company that also thinks they're untouchable? That's a transition.
Do you mean untouchable or out of touch?
Same. The next Castlevania game's been announced, everybody!
Cool.
It's coming to mobile phones and mobile phones only.
Oh.
Don't you all have phones?
I knew that was gonna be your response, Lynn. I knew it.
I'm still bitter. It's
Getting in on the crotchety game. All right.
Dude, I'm already seen as old at work because half of my trainees have more than a decade age gap.
Ooh.
So I get called mom as is. I'm allowed to be crotchety, damn it.
I know that feeling. Honestly, okay, I'm just gonna throw this out here right now. As a mobile game, this doesn't look half bad.
Yeah.
Like watching the trailer.
If Castlevania was a series that actually had games coming out to it that were other than mobile, like Nintendo, put out a fucking Mario Kart you can actually play. So the Mario Kart on the phone, fine. That's a cool distraction, man. While you're taking a poop, you can do a quick race. Awesome. What is this? Why is this? Why can't I get a real Castlevania game, you fucks? Bloodstained was great, though.
I was about to say that's why you got Bloodstained.
Now, see, I've got one problem with mobile action games. And if there are any women watching or anybody who likes to grow their nails,
Yeah, I
do you
sympathize
have
with
any
you on
idea
this.
how it is to you? It's so hard to use those stupid virtual thumbsticks when you have long nails. My Armajet ranking is toast because I keep stupidly trying to play on mobile.
I totally sympathize with you on that. I tend to have my nails long because gender nonconforming is rad, and I hate playing games on my phone for the exact same reason. It is fucking ugh.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I cut my nails, not because I care about conforming to my gender. What the fuck is that shit? But you know, I hate playing with my phone all the goddamn day.
Yeah.
And
No.
trying to use the virtual thumbsticks with like the inside of your knuckle.
Oof.
You know how like where your thumb bends?
Yeah.
And trying to actually play games with that gets awkward really quick.
Can only imagine.
Yeah. So real quick, I know we made the comparisons to Blizzard here and the Diablo. Was it Diablo Champions? Is that the name of the game? I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Immortals.
Yeah.
Immortals. There we go. That's yeah. Whoopty. Anyway, here's the main reason why I have more of a problem with this than Diablo Immortals and Blizzard. Blizzard at least still makes games for the people that want to play like the more expansive console PC versions of those games. Like they're not just making a Diablo for mobile and calling it quits, like Travis was saying about you know, about other stuff. Meanwhile, Konami, the only thing that I know they have on their docket for the year in terms of non-mobile or pachinko stuff is that whatever they renamed their soccer franchise to, because it escapes me right now.
Oh, Brian, you forgot about the Frogger thing that we're going to talk about later.
Well, I clearly did forget about that, but I was there was two things. It was that, and then their TurboGrafx 16 Mini.
Ooh,
Like
yeah.
those are the two things that Konami is putting out on console, but yet they chose the Castlevania is coming out on mobile. So it's like, you're not serving both audiences with this. Like I get you want to make that mobile money, but at least Blizzard has some goodwill in providing games for their main install base on PC and console. That being said, Konami hasn't really been playing to any fan base for a number of years now. So who the fuck knows?
There you go.
I mean, I played Metal Gear Survive. I don't know who the fuck that was for.
You played it? I'm sorry.
I played the demo. I mean, the beta. I was in the
okay.
beta. Yeah, like I didn't play the single player on that, but like still, I don't know who that game was for. It wasn't for a metal. Anyway, I don't want to get off on that. That's gonna be a 15-minute thing. I'm gonna shut up.
Now, see, I've just come to a horrible realization, and I apologize if I'm late to the party on this. Could it be that all of these companies are suddenly doing really crappy attempts at mobile games because it is so much easier to put microtransactions on mobile because they're kind of expected?
No! That's not why Konami's putting it out on mobile at all!
I mean, where do you think that mobile money comes from?
It
definitely isn't from buying the game.
10-1, it's actually developed by Tencent.
Wouldn't surprise me. Hey, you want to keep talking about dumpster fires?
I've been living one lately, so yeah, bring it on.
GameStop put out a news release on their quarter fiscals for 2019, and it ain't good. They down. I'm gonna just put that forward to you. The numbers, we could go over it. They down.
Oh yeah. So basically, their sales dropped another 14%. And that equates to multi-million dollars in losses.
But hey, their collectibles went up 21%, buddy. Don't forget about that.
I'm glad that their collectibles went up 24%. But it doesn't matter what goes up. It all matters like where are you ending up after you equate everything together. Because let's face it, like GameStop, they have added a lot of that stuff in there. They are still called fucking GameStop. Like if you are like you have to have that core product that's in your name and have it sell for you to still keep that sort of representation of yourself or to make this business viable in a lot of ways. Because you're not going to keep GameStop afloat selling Funko Pops alone. Too many other places sell them. But I love why they're saying that the sales are down, or their rationale behind it. Basically, GameStop executives are saying that the reason why game sales have slowed is because we are exiting out of a console generation, and everybody is waiting to buy stuff for the new consoles that are coming next year.
I mean, in a way, that's not entirely wrong.
It's not. But at the same time, like it completely ignores the fact that they've been trending down for a number of years whenever the console generation was still thriving.
Yeah, the Switch release didn't save them 2 years ago.
No, it didn't. And the fact that they seem so blind to the rise of digital sales in the marketplace. Like it's the fact that they publicly were trying to like not sweat over the fact that Sony pulled all digital sales out of their stores earlier this year really speaks to like either they are like incredibly reserved whenever they are speaking to the public, or they are completely oblivious to what is happening to their industry. I think it's a little bit of both based off what we're going to talk about here in a little bit. But like there's clearly some kind of disconnect with going on within this company as to what actually can keep them afloat going forward.
Well, and I mean, to speak to their sorry state at present, I have a story.
Okay.
Ooh, I'm all for story
Picture
time.
this. Sunday, four verified nerds walk into the mall.
Mm-hmm.
Myself, Playwatch, my sister Magdalene Vale, and her fiance. And we go, oh, hey, there's an EB, which is, Canada's version of GameStop. Same company. We all went in. We all spent 5 minutes kind of standing in the middle of the store, spun in a circle, and every single one of us left without buying a damn thing. We're all nerds, we're all collectors, and there wasn't a damn thing that interested any one of us.
Not at all surprising because they're no longer selling to the tail end like they used to. They're primarily selling to, hey, this new game's out. Don't ya want to buy it right now? Get it out of our hands before it drops in value huge.
Yeah, I mean they are beholden to physical sales at this point in a way that really kind of speaks to the archaic nature of their business model.
But hey, it's not that bad. I mean, oh, they're only closing 200 stores that were overperforming.
Yeah, and this is where things get really dark with the story because like we can talk about GameStop abstractly as a company and how they are failing things, but like there are real life consequences with this stuff, obviously. And it really hurts for me to like see so many people lose their job over a company that just does not understand how to operate from the top down at all. You know,
Yeah, these are hundreds of people that are going to be without a job because they have to restructure. And whenever I hear the word restructuring, that is always corporate for we're fucked up. We gotta do something now. And that's what they're doing is the start. They are closing underperforming stores in order to focus on their 5,700 core stores nationwide.
ugh, just that number. That's so many fucking locations.
I'm somewhat surprised they have 5,700 GameStop opens. Trying to think about it, like
Well, I mean, you also that does take into account the EBs and locations outside of the country also.
also
So
true.
yeah, but still, like that's a really large number.
Yeah, that's a good amount of product to completely push out.
Yeah.
But hey, here's a little bit of good news. Coming out of one of the locations. Whoa, let's go ahead and mute this. Sadly recorded in vertical vision. But this is a GameStop. I forget out of where, but this is one of the newly rebranded stores looking to be on the market to bring people into the store, not just have them come in, but stay in for extended periods of time. They have classic consoles set up, they have current consoles set up, they have CRTs for your classic consoles to play them on. They have big ass screens hanging around everywhere talking about their products, and a little like gamer bench in the middle here as well. The big thing that I notice is that the kiosk now for your purchases is dead square in the middle of the store rather than off to the side and shoved away. And you have so much more room to walk around in this one.
Yeah, like well, I don't know, Lens. Like you are probably the most recent of any of us that have been in a GameStop or an EB,
Mhm.
based off of your story. How does this look to you compared to what you experienced in the EB earlier?
In terms of space and mobility, this is a lot more accessible. In terms of aesthetic and the way I have it set up and their merchandising and everything like that, this looks like hell's waiting room. I've done merchandising before. This looks like shit. Looks like a grad student who really doesn't care went, ah, yeah, I guess we can put this stuff here. Like it's going to get demolished during major sales if anybody shows.
Mhm.
And their little gamer hub thing in the back looks like an unfinished conference room that is where you're going to get marched over to get fired.
My question is, okay, so they have this whole back area for playing classic console games and shit, but as you walk through the whole place, I don't see a single fucking classic game out on display. They have the little mini kiosk where you can do your online ordering, but no one wants to fucking order online when you go to a physical store.
I mean, I won't necessarily agree with that because usually when I go to a physical GameStop store, it's because I can't order what I want to online from their website. Whenever on the odd occasion that I am, so I'm actually walking into the GameStop, bitching to myself about why can't I order this online? I have to walk into this thing at the mall. This is dumb.
But
But
it's
that's the
also
only way that I can see that. You were saying, Lens.
it's it's also a thing like that's why I added the who really doesn't care about this part-time job goggles. I'm not banging on grad students. Um, but like Trav said, yeah, um, they've got the classic consoles. I mean, I think the oldest thing I saw back there was an N64. But where are the games? Am I supposed to bring my own?
That's the curious thing about this because like for me personally, I don't mind the redesign compared to the last GameStop that I went into. I like the openness of it. I definitely agree with you, Lens. This is not going to accommodate any large scale sale very well, and that couch being right out in the front of the store like that is terrible. That is going to get ransacked so hard within a year of this thing launching. It should also be noted this store is in Pryor, Oklahoma, so it's a smaller scale store that's in a strip mall, not like many of the locations that are within actual like enclosed malls, where I don't know if this setup would necessarily work for the kind of space that that you are given in those settings,
Yeah,
and that
because
sort of
like
thing.
from the front gate to the checkout desk, it's giant pie. That's your fault. Um, from the front gate to the checkout desk is probably about the same size as the EB in my local mall.
Mm.
Yeah.
So what are they going to do? Lose their stock room too?
Yeah, and like and speaking to the retro game stuff, um it's really interesting to me to see them sort of like talk. So if you can't hear it in the video, but the person in the video that's giving the tour of the shop, it talks up how like the all of the retro consoles that they have in the back, and the fact that they have the big CRTs back there, which personally, nice touch,
Mhm.
very nice touch with that. um but they're also talking about like playing retro games and buying retro games for these consoles. But you know, GameStop has been in the retro game business for at least 2 or 3 years now in terms of like um, older stuff, the nostalgic stuff.
Mhm.
But they've never put that stuff out in their stores because they don't really have a place to put it. There's no real easy way for them to just put all that stuff out. Um, there's no real good way for them to package that stuff in a way that really attracts the eye because a lot of their stuff are they don't really like to put loose cartridges out.
Mhm.
GameStop, they don't do that sort of thing anymore. But even that being said, looking at their selection and the way that they price their retro stuff, it does not match up to the marketplace at all in terms of selection or cost effectiveness. Like the majority of things that I have looked at on their website, because that's the only place you can buy retro games from GameStop is on their website. A lot of the pricing is like really high compared to like what you might be able to find something for like on eBay or even on Craigslist, like or even just go to your regular local like your local retro gaming shop, like that's specifically tailored to that sort of thing. You'll be able to find better deals on a lot of these titles. I don't need to pay $25 for the original Smash when I can find it for 15 or 20 somewhere else. And I don't have to deal with GameStop, and I don't have to deal with shipping costs either. You know?
And
Despite
it's
good.
oh, go ahead.
Despite the
It's
negative, I'm going ahead anyway. Despite the negatives that we've said so far, I would still way rather go to this store than the existing GameStops. Primarily because when I go to an existing GameStop, I feel like fucking Godzilla trampling around, knocking over things with my ass. There isn't even a whole lot of my ass, and I'm knocking over tables and shit with it. There's room here. I can breathe. It looks nice and open. And hey, look, I can stare at some old shit. Cool.
I think though, like they're also really, if they want to really push the whole retro side of it, they are really going to have to step up the functionality of their online store. Maybe start including retro consoles as well, because I, what's the point? I'm going to go to the store because the website's not working, use their online kiosks there to order a retro game, wait for it to ship to my house in 3 weeks, and then come back to the store to play it.
Yeah, like I'm assuming that they have copies of some popular like retro games
Yeah,
there
they
for people to demo
gotta.
with. But like even then, like that's gonna like unless you have people just bringing their favorite stuff from home, like work like your employees doing that for people to play with or stuff like that. Like I don't know, like there's a lot of money that gets sunk into buying these sort of things just to spread them out across like however many stores they go through remodeling in this first wave of remodel. So
Alright, we've beaten on that dead horse enough. Let's go hit on another, even weirder horse. Apple has had a major unveiling over the last week. Coming to your iOS devices is the Apple Gaming Service for $5 a month. You too can get over 100 titles coming to their streaming service. It is not like the Stadia where you stream it from their stuff. You actually download the games and play it from your device. And there are hundreds of games, including Frogger and Toy Town from Konami, Beyond a Steel Sky from Revolution Software, Hot Lava from Cly Entertainment, Lego Brawls from Lego and Red Games, Rayman Mini from Ubisoft, Sonic Racing from Sega and Hardlight. These are the highlights of what is coming to the Apple Arcade. These are their launch titles that they are the most proud of.
God, this is okay.
I appreciate that they're trying to do like family friendly stuff, and yeah, like you just pay $5 a month and hand the iPad to your kid and he plays fucking Frogger. Alright.
My heart hurts.
This is the other big release this year from Konami. Frogger and Toy Town coming to your iOS device this fall.
Okay, there is one actually pretty cool thing about this. They're basically locking down privacy on the service to where they don't collect data
Nice.
from users. So that's really cool. Well, they do it without you have to give them consent to do it, so they don't automatically do it. So it's an opt-in thing, which is pretty cool. But that being said, I don't know why Apple is doing this. I really don't. Like, Apple has always steered clear of the gaming sphere
Mm-hmm.
in their long and storied history. I know that there's the closest they ever got was like putting some games on Apple TV, and like that was okay. I know that the iOS store, like every mobile store, like is mainly dominated by by games, but Apple really doesn't get into the business of providing like ecosystems for those sort of things that regularly. So this is an interesting move. I just don't know if there's that much of a base within the Apple audience that really would take to something like this.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like, do you think most people who are like Apple loyalists are there for the tech? They're
Yeah.
there for what the like they were watching this for iPhone 11. That's what they wanted to see. That's what they
Correct.
cared about. I don't know how much traction this is going to get outside of, like you were saying, like families that are just looking for distractions for their children.
Yeah, I
And maybe
mean,
distractions is too derogative. Sorry, go ahead, Lens.
I'm the worst person to talk about anything Apple because I used to work in the phone industry. I have been Android centric since day one. And I can't. The fact that anytime, like the same time the Nexus 5, 2 years after the Nexus 5 came out, the iPhone launch that had all of these new groundbreaking features that were already done on the Nexus 5 2 years previous. And it's been the same thing every fucking release. Everything that they come up with that's brand new and completely groundbreaking is so outdated and so overpriced that I can't get behind this company at all.
I'm sorry, I was in the middle of scrolling through the list of games that have been announced, and one of them is called Box Project, and they only have showed a picture of a box, and there is no information about this game yet, but a cardboard box living in a cardboard box.
Okay, I did see one thing that I might have to try this service out for, even though I don't have an Apple product, so it doesn't really matter. I won't get to try it.
Mhm.
But Cricket Through the Ages, um, I might need to play that.
I will say there is one pretty big game they got here, and I had almost forgotten about this until scrolling through. Exit the Gungeon is going to be a platformer from the people that made Enter the Gungeon that will be coming to this device as well.
Yeah, and that's a really cool game that I don't know if they would necessarily have had the chance to really get that made as much if it didn't already have like backing from or have a place that where it can live and like really prosper with an exclusive audience. I'm sure Apple has like really like financially infused some of these people that are creating games for this platform too. So getting that sweet Apple money
Mm.
um, would be a really good reason to develop for this platform. Also, it's just like there's just not a ton of stuff here that really jumps out at me. One thing that will be really interesting though is if like they touted how a lot of some of these games will be like taking advantage of augmented reality, and really like the most popular and profitable mobile games over the past like 5 years, I would say, have come from the AR marketplace. Look at Pokemon Go as the one that stands out the most. Like if they can find some franchise to license and put a really well made AR game on top of that and make it exclusive to this platform, that is how you sell this. That is the only way I see this being like becoming like super high demand is if something like that is tied to it.
I mean, I see Skate coming out for it, so fucking platform of the year, 10 out of 10.
That Skate is a lie.
It ain't Skate 3! Where's Skate 3?
Skate 4.
4.
Skate 4, please.
Alright. So that was Apple
Oh,
Arcade.
wait, hold on. Okay, they have a an update to the Steven Universe or a new Steven Universe mobile game. I might be into
Oh.
that. Okay. Okay, there's things.
Yeah, there's things, but not enough things for me to put my $5 down. And I'm pretty sure Enter the Gungeon is gonna, or Exit the Gungeon is gonna come to Android eventually. So I'll get my hands on it if I want it at some point. But let's drop into a Jason Schreier story, so you know it's going to be some fucking tea over at Kotaku. Nikalas is kind of a company that up until this came out, I kind of stand for a whole lot. I like Tyrone a whole lot. But this article outlines a whole lot of items that are really weird coming out of Nikalas. Now, you may know them most for games like Enter the Gungeon, Binding of Isaac, Cave Story Plus.
Okay. See, I was going to ask you because I'm not totally familiar with this company by name, so I'm glad that you said that.
So, a lot of developers spoke out about frustration of working with the company, especially in light of if you are a smaller developer working for them, as in not Edmund McMillan, they tend to ghost people who have wanted to develop with them. Enter the Gungeon is one of the people, the developers for that explicitly stated that the company has been very slow to respond and get back to them, even with developer Devolver prodding them several times. And from the results of this article, Edmund McMillan is probably going to pull out from what he said of all future publishing. Like, there's already so much work going into the PC release of The Legend of Bumbo and the Repentance release of Binding of Isaac that they're going to go forward, but his future games are likely going to go elsewhere. But the biggest real bomb is on the founder, Tyrone Rodriguez. They were given several transcripts from things that he said in the company chat, and there's more stories. Some of them had to be private, anonymous, but these are taken directly from his chat in the company team group. From Tyrone, we'll exchange at the airport. Matt was getting Jewed by his bank today. The exchange is $103 to Canadian. Let's see, it's their marketing group. They had a recent shift in people, so the new people are kind of retards. You kind of get the idea, like a whole bunch of real, this is some edgelord bullshit statements coming out of Tyrone. Especially, hey, this one right here that I'm not going to say out loud, because that's a baffling fucking statement. Yeah, so there's a lot of delightful stories about Tyrone just not talking to people and just in general being a poor manager and being a bit of a douchebag. Tyrone did write a statement in response. I wrote some terribly insensitive, stupid remarks in DMs that don't represent who I am. Just because they were done in a private situation while trying to be funny and edgy doesn't make them any less terrible. They're indefensible and unacceptable. As someone who has experienced racism and discrimination in my life, I should know better and must be a better person. I can't throw around words for shock value or because I think they'll get a laugh. I want to also clarify that my insensitivity and vulgarity shouldn't reflect on the people I work with. They're very good people and shouldn't be held responsible for my own actions. If I've hurt you and I wasn't aware until today that I might have, I hope you can forgive me someday. Scene.
In short, my PR person is making me write this so I don't get yelled at.
No, knowing Tyrone Rodriguez and how he functions, this is a legitimate statement from him. I followed him long enough that I know how to read, because I followed him a lot while The Binding of Isaac was being developed, because I fucking stand for everything Ed McMillan does, and he's the main developer on that. So, yeah, the dude's kind of a fucking edgelord, and it's not terribly surprising, but some of the stories on some of the asshole things that he did with people, you know, calling them bitches if they want to take shots with him and stuff at the company meetings. kind of shitty. But the one thing I can say from the statement that is correct is that Nikalas isn't just Tyrone Rodriguez. Nikalas is a company of, I want to say, 20 to 30 developers at least. So I'm not saying fucking cancel Nikalas here, or, take it as you want to, take it how you feel you should out of this. But, I don't know if it's as bad as other companies, but also kind of fuck Tyrone.
No, I completely agree with you on that. Fuck Tyrone. Like, there. Here's, I hate this part of his statement, where he talks about how the insensitive and stupid remarks that he made in private don't represent who he is.
No, they
Because
do.
honestly, exactly, the things that most represent you are what you say in private. Whenever people aren't going to be able to sit around and judge you, or at least not like the public isn't going to judge you. Like the people closest to you can still judge you, but the fact that you are still feel comfortable enough to say these things, these gross things, like that is that speaks volumes about the person that Tyrone Rodriguez is. And honestly, like I completely agree with you, Travis. Like Tyrone does not reflect on Nikalas as a company, or the other people that work there as a company. Everybody is beholden to their own views and their own issues there. And I would not put Tyrone's bullshit on anybody else right now. But reading this and hearing about so just a small selection of the stuff that he has done and said while working with that company, I can safely say that Tyrone Rodriguez is a shitty person, and like I don't know if I equate some of this to what we saw go down with, and I don't mean to steer this away from games for just a second, but like the stuff that went down with Saturday Night Live over the weekend, with Shane Gillis. I don't know if y'all are familiar with that story.
A little bit.
Yeah, so basically he got fired today.
Mm.
SNL fired him whenever hit the after the podcast with him making like saying all that racist stuff about Asian people and Chinese people came out, which obviously reflected his form of edgy comedy that doesn't represent who he is, but is pushing the boundaries. And that's the same messaging that you see with a lot of these people, is like they feel like they have to be edgy for edgy's sake, and it's a way for them to disguise like their own biases. And people like that don't deserve to be in places of leadership. And so like I struggled with actually saying like Tyrone should not be in his position with Nikalas anymore, but like I think I feel pretty good now, saying that Tyrone should not be in his position at Nikalas anymore, or should at least face some form of punishment for this and make a legitimate form of atonement in some ways to show that he is capable of personal growth.
Yeah, that statement isn't enough for me. And me personally, like, I have followed Tyrone long enough that I I would feel if he had a real apology, not just for the shitty remarks he made in DMs, but there's a lot else in this article that is real shitty stuff. I mean, it's none of it sexual abuse or anything along those lines. He's not asking people to post huge crunch hours. So I can't even hate him as bad as I hate Randy Pitchford. But you can't just say, I'm sorry for the things I said in private. Put up or shut up, and for fuck's sake, get back with some of these developers that are pissed off on waiting for you to catch up. I know that your company isn't a huge company, so you've got to at least tell them we don't have the people to do this right now. It'll be another few months. Do fucking something if this is, if they are entrusting you, these good people that you said work for you, with your fucking leadership.
Yeah, I mean, and that's really the main, like probably the worst thing that comes out of this in terms of like the overall landscape of things, because like this is where Tyrone's actions do reflect on the people that work at Nikalas. Like whenever like you are dropping the ball on business deals, and if you're dropping the ball on development deals like this, to the point where you are basically like inching closer to being blacklisted because you can't keep up with demand and you aren't willing to admit your own limitations,
Mhm.
you know, as a company, as a leader of a company. So like that can really bleed over to like putting Nikalas on a resume might be a very bad thing to do at some point in the future because of these practices. And the fact that you are limiting your employees who might be wanting that experience on that resume, you might be painting them in a bad light going forward. So in that way, Tyrone's actions um, do reflect on his employees. So like there's so many different things with this that really need to change. Obviously, I think that's the major takeaway here, clearly. But yeah, I'm glad that like even the small companies like this are being called out for this stuff.
Yeah, I'm hoping Jason Schreier maybe comes back in a few months and, says that his sources have said better things. I think that Tyrone is the type of person that can do better and may do better. I've at least hope. But I also kind of staring at this article like, if somebody I respect as much as Edmund McMillan is pulling out, that alone says enough to me that he's not someone to really just pull out of something. This is a guy that I have watched stand by the other people that he has worked with before, time and time again, even knowing the limitations of what they can produce. So if he pulls out completely, I would lose my faith in Nikalas as a company personally. Whew. All right. let's lighten ourselves up a little bit with some actual good stories. Take a breath, cause everything's fine. Do you smell that? It smells like
But
fried chicken.
oh, for a second there, I thought you were playing Borderlands 3 and you were gonna make a poop joke.
No, sir. KFC is putting out a free game on Steam on September 24th, where you too can date Colonel Sanders in a dating simulator where you must fight with your rivals for the attention of Colonel Sanders.
Is one of your rivals the Hamburglar?
No, 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 it is not. I don't see in the Polygon article. I know there was a video. Yeah, let's just pull this bad boy up and give it a watch. These are your rivals, and your best friend is a corgi.
Well, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that corgi's got a spatula. All right, I'm in. Yeah.
Well, you learn about the Colonel's 11 herbs and spices.
Oh yeah, no. This is clearly marketing. This is clearly marketing all around. But that corgi, damn it.
Oh, it's all fucking marketing. Of course it is. It's a free fucking game, but this might be the best tie-in video game since the one way back in the mid-90s where that was a Doom clone where you fought the aliens. Oh, I can't remember. It was a cereal mascot game.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say since Sneak King.
Oh no, this game is way better than Sneak King.
I don't know. Sneak King, you get to sneak up on construction workers and surprise them with hamburger.
Chex Quest! That was it.
Oh yeah, Chex Quest.
The greatest promotional tie-in video game of all time.
See, the whole thing is the Chex Quest
Mhm.
didn't apply up here because we don't have checks really. Like
What?
it's not exactly a Canadian cereal.
Boo.
Weird. I would think like of all things, Chex would be the thing that would not translate across the border.
There was a Kickstarter, by the way, in 2016 for a Chex Quest 4. They went that far. The last Chex Quest game came out in 2008.
I don't know. I still stand by Sneak King. Game feeds my urge to be weird so much.
I cannot get behind Sneak King with you. I wish I could. I did play that game, but boy, no, I can't join you in this.
You want this burger?
I mean, I do want this burger, but...
I made it appear out of my cape. Enjoy this burger while you sit on your bulldozer and take a break from the hard work. I'm gonna slink away.
Going to sleep away to Nintendo World!
Slinking away. Don't you go away from my creepiness. Alright.
Nintendo World Japan theme park will be opening in 2020. Initial rides announced are Mario Kart and Yoshi rides.
So I know now that I have less than a year to save the money to go to Japan.
Is the ride just called Yoshi Rides?
That's what it's called, Yoshi Rides.
Can you make it like...
Oh no, it's going to be called Yoshi's Adventures.
Oh, okay. Because I thought it was just gonna be like, here's a Yoshi, figure out what you want to do with it, and then like give me a long gap to jump across, and I can just run and jump, and then jump off the back of my Yoshi, and relive like the most harrowing experience as an animal lover of my childhood, of having to sacrifice my dinosaur pet just so I could complete a level.
Yeah,
I wonder. I used to cry when I was little watching my parents play Super Mario World. Every time they ditched Yoshi to get across a gap, I cried.
Yeah. I just want to relive my trauma in real life. Bring it back to me. Make it slap me in the face.
Yeah, I'm, I don't know if I would go to a new theme park in its first year unless you really love waiting in line.
It's in Japan. You're going to be waiting in line 10 years from now.
Not wrong.
And our last piece of positivity. Celebration time, everyone! Ash Ketchum has finally won! He did it, the boy wonder, after 22 years!
Jesus.
I remember watching the fucking original Pokemon in middle school. And now he's finally won something.
If it took me that long to win something, like, I don't know if I would have the stamina. Keep going.
There was the Orange League that he did win, but the Orange League doesn't apparently count. Canonically, it's not like a thing from what I understand. I didn't ever watch it. I aged out around that time. I only ever watched Kanto, but can I ask one question though?
What you got?
What is this new? What is this? When did this happen? This face. That is not my boy Ash.
Yeah, no. Ash, what happened to you, bro?
Ash got some work done.
Yeah, it's no longer that whiny, pointy Sonic head that he always had. It's this thing.
He had to get that new face so he could get that new confidence so he could win that championship.
Right.
I mean, he went like 20 plus years with that old face and didn't win shit. So, like, new face, new strategy, new attitude.
So he took to heart the whole new year, new me?
That's right. New year, new you. Pikachu.
Good on my boy, though. I am just glad that, he kept on with his heart and determination and made something of himself. His mom will finally be proud, and after 22 years, he can finally go home.
So wait, if he was kicked out of his house when he was 11, And it's been 22 years. He's 33 now and going to move back in with his mom.
Ash actually has a growth issue, you see. So yeah, this is not. This looks like the face of a boy, but it ain't.
Oh, it's his man face.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, going into the last full story, I guess. Though we have 5 more stories to go through tonight. Tokyo Game Show was last week, and there was a lot of cool shit. We're not going to go into all of the details of it, but hit the highlights here of everyone freaked the fuck out over the new trailer for Final Fantasy VII, especially pretty boy Reno made his debut appearance in this one, and just you could hear the flutter of all of the hearts of people beginning to argue who is the best, Tifa or Reno. This I can't wait for this fucking game.
God, do we have to choose?
Why can't we take both?
I feel like I'm unqualified to comment because I never played the original.
I mean, I barely played the original, but I don't know.
Look at this redhead boy with his open shirt. Yeah.
God damn it.
All right, he wins.
Yeah, I think, God, it's so hard to. I don't want to choose.
Or creepy henchman with the double piercings and bald head. He wins too.
Everybody's got their thing, I guess. Not my cup of tea.
Yeah, and the Aerith dress reveal, which in the original was, oh, that's a dress, yeah. Moving on. So, we know the weird scene that is infamous in fucking Final Fantasy, at least in some way, will exist with Don Cornelius. Gross. But also,
Great.
okay.
I really hope they handle that better.
Please?
I don't have faith that they'll handle that better.
Also, mini games. And you can be a frog.
I want to be a frog. I wouldn't have to do work. I could just hop around, chill out on lily pads.
I hear there's a game.
Shut up.
There's a game coming to the Apple Store if you really want it.
I have an iPod Touch first gen.
Mm-hmm.
It won't even. I can't even get games from the App Store now because it's too outdated.
But yeah, there you go. This is your gameplay trailer for Final Fantasy VII Remake: The First Entry. And of course, there'll be a whole lot more, and how that will go with the PlayStation 5 coming out, we don't fucking know yet, but I'm going to play this, and I'm going to disappear for a little while in March. Just a heads up. So there you go. And also, good news for all of the people bitching about the active time system in the Final Fantasy VII Remake, you can now play in Classic Mode. You can get that time system back again, where your characters sit on both sides and wait for their turn and then attack.
But it's so pretty, it feels like a waste.
Yeah, the game looks so nice, so just having them stand across from each other and then wait and then attack, it looks so much better in the real time. I can't understand who, except for the old fucking curmudgeons, would play classic mode, but people bitch, so here it is. You can play with the active time battle.
I will say there is one really awesome thing that could come out of this classic mode. Imagine the animations on limit breakers and summons.
Fair.
That could be generated here from putting these new graphics into the classic mode. Like those could be like stupendous, amazing. Like it makes me wonder, what if they applied this tech to Final Fantasy VI just so I could see that train suplex in full on 4K HDR.
Brian, me and you are marching down to Square Enix, and we're bringing one slide with us. Sabin fucking suplexing a train in HD.
Animate this.
Although,
Animate it and send it to me.
could you not imagine that if you have classic mode turned on for your combat, it automatically reverts to the older style graphics
Oh
as
my
soon as
god,
you
that's
hit
perfect.
combat?
That's perfect. Oh my
The
god.
rest of the game is this gorgeous high def, and then you hit combat and it's pretty little tiny pixel graphics.
That would be fucking beautiful. Oh my god.
You don't want to take advantage of all the work we did into a real-time combat system? You don't get the pretties!
And the other item that I wanted to talk about, I can't even say we, I wanted to talk about, coming out of the Tokyo Game Show. At least me and Brian are the same wavelength here. A 40-minute fucking trailer of the gameplay from the Death Stranding, which is coming out in just a few weeks, has been revealed.
Okay, so because
Sorry.
I know you guys have already fanboyed over this, and I guarantee you Travis has been watching this on repeat since it was released.
I actually haven't, but go ahead.
Do we know what this game is about yet?
There's ladders.
There's ladders, and you walk across the country. You physically walk across the country, trying to find things and reconnect people and just kind of go explore with your backpack.
Also, there's Jeff Keighley.
Mm-hmm. Also, the items that people build previous to you, as long as enough people like it, stay there.
Oh.
Penises everywhere.
Yes.
This is going to be like Spore all over again.
Except way weirder.
Mm-hmm.
Spore was already weird. I just love the complete lack of subtlety. Like Bridges right on the hat. Like Bridges, like the name of naming the company Bridges, and like we're bridging the world back together, and like I have these ladders. It's just.
And you can sit here and sing to your baby.
This game is so weird.
So basically, we're on a countdown now for a couple of weeks, where we will finally find out if Kojima is truly a genius or a madman with a microphone.
Yep. Oh, he's a fucking madman with a microphone. Let's be straight with ourselves and each other. The boy fucking crazy.
In a good way. Sometimes he still has. There's still some issues there with some of the stuff in his games, but overall, for the most part, very intriguing, very interesting product that he puts out. November 8th cannot get here soon enough.
Look at that little dancing baby playing in a harmonica.
Just so many weird. There's so much weird stuff. Oh my god. This game is so odd.
Every time I see that baby, I get flashbacks to a terrible, it had to have been B-rate or direct-to-TV movie from like the early 2000s called Deadly Wake.
Oh?
It is so fucked. It was like they're on this super advanced submarine-esque thing that is controlled by an AI that they call Baby, which is literally a baby in a test tube.
Oh god.
That runs the ship, and then the ship comes under attack from supernatural or mutated somethings, and it turns into a light horror movie with a couple of jump scares. If you're into horrifically bad movies, watch it. I will see if I can pull up the actual full title of it. It was like Deadly Wake 2025 or something.
Oh, I found it. It's okay. 2103, The Deadly Wake.
Yeah, that one.
Yes.
It's worth a watch for the sheer bad because we can-ness of it.
Nice.
It currently sits with a 20% score on Rotten Tomatoes.
Ooh.
And Malcolm McDowell was in it. What the
Ooh,
fuck?
accolades indeed.
Mid-90s Malcolm McDowell. Fucking Jesus Christ.
And we know what Brian's going to be watching this weekend.
I am home alone for 3 more days. I am watching this 4 times before my partner gets home.
It's just, I'm going to warn you, man, it's like mentally scarring. I saw this thing way back in the day when I still lived with my parents, so we're going back to like 2003 on like Spike as one of the random evening movies. And it has stuck with me for 16 years.
I have already found a way to watch it for free on the internet, and I am going to do that later tonight instead of watching football.
You gotta let me know what you think of it.
Oh, I will.
Oh, and Norman, no.
Oh yeah, that's the other thing. Like, what's up with they still got the pea water stuff going on?
Yeah, I forgot about that. Oh,
yeah.
Fucking gross.
All the water's in it. Everybody just peeing everywhere. Stop peeing everywhere.
Looks like fucking chicken cream soup. Ah! Well,
I know what I'm not having for dinner tonight.
Don't splash that in your face, Norman. What's wrong with you? Ah!
Maybe
you don't know where that's been.
I don't know. Maybe in this world without ladders, with the bringing ladders back to the world, like maybe this version of it just doesn't understand that maybe they see like pee as water.
I had totally I was following along with what you guys said, and I had absolutely forgotten about this, and I'm just like, no, not with the pea water.
Pea water. See, okay, back a few months ago, whenever you and Joan were just kept chanting teeth after that Sonic trailer,
mm-hmm.
and I was just like exasperated because I'm just like I can't with this bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
The pea water here is my teeth. This is my for real. Pea water. Pea water.
You know what? I'm not against it. I am against the pea water itself, but not the chins.
Okay.
All right. Last week we talked about Celeste and its last chapter coming out, and a lot of the internet has been very interested in the ending, not for the ending itself, but some of the industry, or the illustrations in it, such as when she is talking to her friend whom you meet on the trail. There is the little gay rights and trans rights flags just planted right next to her computer. And people have also mentioned that when she is in bed, you can see pictures of her with her mom where short hair. So this has brought up the question now to the internet, and of course there have been 2 opinions on it. Was this whole game about trans rights in the first place, and what does that say if so?
So, I think, I think the message of Celeste obviously extends beyond just the trans community or the queer community. Mm-hmm. It's focused on overcoming mental illness, overcoming depression, learning to live with it, learning to cope with it, and control it, and even harness it.
Yes.
At times, like those things are
universal.
Those things are universal. Yes, exactly. Mm-hmm. They apply to many different communities, of all different creeds. And orientations, but in that way, I don't necessarily think that Madeline has to be trans, like in canon.
Right.
But it's a very subtle touch to have that character be trans, if in fact she is, because one, you're providing one of the most positive forms of representation for that community that we've seen in gaming ever, and also like you are like giving that community like a nod and a reference point to really like hone in on the experiences that that trans people go through. You know, because like, yes, they do go through similar, the same like bouts with depression and mental illness that any like cis person or like, that like cis people do, but those sort of issues can be so highly amplified for trans people because of what they have to go through and how they their own self-perception. You know, dysphoria is a bitch
Hmm.
sometimes, and that can really cause these sort of things to spiral a lot faster with those people. So like it's a very nice touch to do that, and I think that it gives trans players of this game a way to see themselves even more so within it. It doesn't have to be canon, but you know, it's perfectly fine if it. It's awesome if it is, and it's perfectly fine if people want to say that it's canon.
Hmm.
You know, because that's their experience with it.
And I mean, even even if it's not like canon, it also goes a long way to show that we all go through similar shit.
Yes.
Like mental health affects everybody, and it could be a great unifying factor.
Yeah, I mean, so it could just be that she is an ally. I have some of these flags in various places in my own room. It's on clothing articles and wristbands and shit, but still, it exists, and I am neither of those flags. I just happen to have them as, an ally in the community and whatnot. So, it doesn't necessarily have to, but it's nice, I guess, to have the option of this is maybe how I see it, or maybe not. It could be either way. Like, they point to the bottle of pills. Clearly, she has very strong anxiety. It doesn't necessarily have to be hormones, but it could also be another subtle nod. If it. I don't think. Like, I know I have seen some people who mean to be positive towards the community, but also say, well, isn't this sort of like J.K. Rowling going back and saying, well, of course Dumbledore was gay, but they actually put it in the fucking media that, there's at least slight nods towards it, and if that's how you want to interpret it, it's the author is dead. You can say whatever the hell you want to. You have the context within the universe to say what you want to.
Hmm.
So it's neat. That's my opinion. It's neat. I can see where some people, and I'm not going to even look at the shittier side of it, but some people are like, it's something you didn't write into the text of the item, and then you came back later and rewrote it back in. But meh, I don't care.
Yeah, the shitty corners of the internet can fuck off with this. Like this is awesome. Like I don't care. Like this is great. I am enjoying this. More representation all around into it.
All right, and I put in a happy story before our last story of the night. So this is the one that we've been following for a little while. There was a swatting case a year ago where a gamer was upset over $1.50 bet, and then put into another person to run a SWAT on the person, but the person who ran the SWAT got the wrong house and ended up getting a random bystander killed in the process. Now, the jury came back previously on the other case, and the person who actually called in the SWAT, I believe, got 20 years. Yeah, 20 years in prison after pleading guilty to 51 counts of making fake emergency phone calls and threats. But this boy, who called in who asked the person to call in the SWAT over $1.50 bet, is now going to be in jail for 15 months for paying to get this service done for him.
15 months, maybe not enough. Honestly,
Yeah, I mean, you're not the one that pulled the trigger, but you sure are the one who paid for the trigger to be pulled.
Yeah, I mean, you enabled it, and I think like what was it, the plea agreement, they recommended a sentence of 2 years of probation. And, like that's not gonna work at all.
No.
Like no, he was gonna get jail time for this. I also like the fact that he's been banned from gaming for 2 years. Um, I'm really curious to see how they enforce that. Like, not necessarily because I'm cynical about it. I just am very curious about the logistics of that, knowing like the culture around like online gaming right now. You know, like
Yeah, it's so much like everywhere, you know? You'd have to keep them away from computers and phones and all of the shit. Smart TVs.
yeah, yeah, well, like that. But it's more so just like if they're able to like actually monitor him and make sure he's not doing these things. Like, what does that say about how we like police other interactions online? You know, like could something like if they, like whatever logistically they are doing whenever he gets out of jail to monitor to make sure that he is not playing video games outside of just taking all of his consoles like he's on restriction.
Mm.
Um, like I would be very curious to see how something like that could potentially be implemented into online gaming services as a whole in order to prevent stuff like this from happening again, and also to like kind of de-escalate situations where people are exposed to any level of toxicity online. You know,
I mean,
it's just very interesting in my brain, and not to detract from the actual story here, because like I'm glad that Viner is going to jail wholeheartedly.
like, it's not a long enough sentence. I mean, you essentially put a hit out on somebody. That's conspiracy to commit murder. Somebody actually did get. That's premeditated. You should be going to jail for a lot longer. As for being able to monitor his gaming usage, it's actually really easy. You remand him to the custody of an Amish community. You receive no technology for 2 years.
You
Simple.
must build the houses with them.
Your video game is churning butter.
They did that gig on The Simpsons, man.
Yeah.
It's like virtual reality butter churning at the one state fair.
Oh god, they did do that. Damn it!
Simpsons did it!
Yeah, Simpsons did it. Whatever. I shouldn't even be angry about that. Like Simpsons done everything, doesn't matter. But no, like in all seriousness though, like yeah, he should have had a longer sentence. Honestly, 15 months. I don't. It's not enough for his role in this. So.
Agreed.
Yeah.
All right, but in our 2-hour long live super show tonight, where we cut stories.
Oh yeah, I didn't even get to talk about the Overwatch Grand Finals. What up?
That was our final story. Of course, we cannot end a Mr. Video Game, no matter the length, no matter the fact that we skip talking about the video games we've been playing and all that other shit and having fun. We have to declare who is Mr. Video Games of the Week. Somebody who has done something so stupid, so wonderful, such an attraction, some person, something, someplace, somehow, that has come together, and you just stare at it and go, that is video games.
Yeah.
And the winner of this week is the streamer named Jägermeister, who finally cleaned his room after 14 years and then stopped cleaning because of WoW Classic.
Oh God. Oh God. I was waiting to look at this to surprise myself at the end of the show because I did not want to know what this looked like going in, but oh my God.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this man's room is a fucking dump. Holy shit. He spent 12 years before cleaning his goddamn room and then just let it all pile back up again.
I wish I could show this to my mother and be like, and you used to bitch that my room wasn't clean.
Yeah, I mean, he gained some amount of streamer, whatever, the followers and shit, when he cleaned his room the last time, so, hey, maybe you'll do it again, but also, my man, how many times can you run the stockades again? Alright.
Also, don't blame this on WoW Classic.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I get it. WoW's a thing. I live with people that played WoW. You know, and y'all played WoW.
Yeah?
Like, you can get very invested into it for a long period of time. That's no excuse to just fucking chuck 12 years worth of McDonald's bags on the goddamn floor, you heathen.
Yeah, I played WoW, and I am not the cleanest person in the world, but, occasionally I fucking swept and took out my garbage.
Yeah, you're not this. Jesus Christ.
Well, this has been Mr. Video Games for September 16, 2019. This Friday, sometime probably late in the afternoon, because I have an appointment in the afternoon. But anyway, Friday afternoon, I will likely be streaming Link's Awakening on Twitch. I'll have to figure out how the fuck I'm going to set that up, but it will likely be happening this Friday. So stay tuned for that on Friday, and of course we always export our videos off to youtube.com/cbgpgames. So if you miss a single episode of Mr. Video Games, you got your place to watch it. You can watch it all the fucking time you want to. It's great, it is good, it will clean the acne off your skin. I have been Slacker Kite. Brian, any final words for us this evening?
Honestly, I thought this was going to be a lot longer than 2 hours after seeing that lineup, but I think we're getting better at getting all of our words out, and then at least, or I say that as mostly to me. I am getting better at not just running off my goddamn mouth about these things. That being said, I do have stuff going up over at outsports.com. I have stuff over at pacemagazine.com. I do have stuff at superherohype.com now. And of course, you can follow me over on Twitter at WonderboyOTM. And I am super excited about the grand finals this weekend in Overwatch League. Vancouver Titans all day. Get the fuck out of here, San Francisco. Vancouver Titans.
Hell yeah. Lady Merowyn, any final words this evening?
Be cool, love each other. I'm gonna be streaming Wednesday night. My schedule is fuckered this week, so I'm gonna be, instead of doing my usual Thursday afternoon, it's gonna be Thursday evening because I, for some reason, am mentoring and I have to work noon to 5 on my usual days off. So,
Sweet.
yeah, but somehow means that I'm getting paid 2 hours more than I usually get paid. So, yeah. But yeah, be cool, love each other. You can find our Twitters below. Follow us, love us. Show love to small streamers. Because we're all awesome people. Read all of Brian's articles, because he's awesome people.
No.
Yeah.
I love you guys.
I love y'all too. Wow. Real quick, the breaking news.
Oh,
fuck.
more breaking news.
It's not that bad. It's not like I dropped that E3 thing on y'all like half an hour before the show started or anything. No, this is actually, it actually might be a Mr. Video Games in some ways. Apparently a Twitch streamer named Bees on My Head TV has been suspended indefinitely from Twitch for streaming for live streaming an IRL while being carjacked and shot at.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Maybe put away the phone and call the cops, you dumbass.
Maybe use the phone to call the cops.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just saw this pop up, like it literally just went up on Dexter 2 like 5 minutes ago. So I'm just like, this is really weird. Anyway.
Golf.
Don't stream yourself getting shot at, people.
Either way, we have been Mr. Video Games. This has been our September 16th live stream. My voice is going. Thank you everyone who came in today. John Board, Giant Pie, Joshua Komar, Squid Bro Crow, Lady Goggles, all of you fine fucking people. Thank you for coming and speaking with us and having just a fucking good time. Thank you everybody. Have a good night and a pleasant tomorrow.
Bye.